All right, guys, and welcome to the Git Bit Podcast, the podcast for blurs and nerds, freaks and geeks. If you have a fandom, then this is definitely the place for you. I'm your host, the most Will Buchanan, of course, the man to my right. Wondering what name he's got this week, because I'm gonna go ahead and let him go with it.
Acutely aware of how important my pinky toes are, Joe Tonello. Got him in the opening.
Well played. Well played. That being said, guys, we are the Git Bit Podcast. Before we get started, we had to let people know that this is a family-friendly podcast. We try to watch our language. Most of the time, words do fly. And usually when we do show things, there may be some scenes that may be too intense for younger viewers, so viewer discretion is advised. Aside from that, welcome. So, well, as Joe has pointed out about the pinky toe, we might as well go ahead and talk about the good stuff first. Unless you've been under a rock, Peacemaker, which is basically James Gunn's character from the Suicide Squad. HBO Max did release the first 3 episodes of it this past Thursday, and it is I'm gonna let Joe give his review of the 3 episodes first before I give mine.
Well, first off, we have to acknowledge that opening dance sequence is like one of the best openings we've had in a television show in a while. I have found all the cast members on Instagram, and I've all asked them a singular question. How many takes was it, and who broke the most? I'm going to see who answers me.
I think
as
on
what the show is, I think I put it best. It is a heavy metal rock opera super show with just a dash of robot chicken.
You're not wrong. I'm on the same level. Peacemaker is complete. Oh, first and foremost, let me say this for all the parents. I know I shouldn't have to say this, but
Peacemaker is not a children's show. Do not let them watch.
I realize in 2022 we shouldn't have to say this, but I feel like we have to say this. Peacemaker is, as Joe said, not for children. We repeat, Peacemaker is not for children. I just need to say that because I don't want anybody to come back and say, my child watched the first episode and he learned more. I said, that's on you. You're the parent. But
not to mention the first episode has full-on nudity and sex.
Yes.
So there is that.
There's definitely that. But no, I mean, from what James Gunn, I'm again one of my favorite directors. Of course, we're still waiting on the Gallons of the Guardians holiday special in Volume 3, but we know that's coming. But when he was in DC, again, gave us a great Suicide Squad movie. And again, Peacemaker is starting complete off that. We're not going to go too much into detail about Peacemaker as far as specifics goes. We will point out some things, but not everything, just because it is still fresh. And like I said, the first 3 episodes are available on HBO Max or wherever you watch television, however you do it. We are not encouraging. We are not saying. We are saying the legal ways of watching Peacemaker. Beyond that, that is on your conscience. So, but yeah, as far as Peacemaker goes, guys, I know Joe loved it. I loved it. John Cena was the perfect person to play this. I knew the guy had range just because of previous movies he's been in, but to the extent to how he plays this character, and then the multiple characters around him, like again Danielle, I can never say her last name, but she was on Orange Is the New Black. She was tasty, if you wonder who I'm talking about. She has a wonderful role. I loved her bit about it. And then you said the other 2 characters, Blanchett and I can't think of the computer guy's name to save my life right now.
Economos.
Thank you. Which were in the original
Economos.
Right, which were in the original we were in the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie, and they have their roles. Everybody seems to have a standout moment, which again I love was on this show. They all had standout moments. Even though I had to give James Gunn, and I'm gonna let Joe tell this one because there were some Easter eggs in there that James Gunn threw in there that we had to give respect for. One of them, as I'm gonna let Joe explain, that apparently Mixelpick, I can never say his name. You know what I'm trying to say, Joe. Say again?
Oh, so Economos brings up Batmite, and it's a rule that was actually given in the Superman issue where Mixelpick is captured and docks to somebody, and all 5th dimensional beings are consistent across all forms of media.
Mm-hmm.
So in that issue, we even see the Gilbert Gottfried version said, I am all these people. So that means Gilbert Gottfried is all of Mitzel Piglet. So what does that have to do with this? So Economos brings up Batmite and the fact that Ben Affleck has had to put up with Batmite in this universe multiple times. And by the rule of fifth dimensional beings, that means Batmite is Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman in this universe, as he was introduced in Batman Brave and the Bold. And anytime now, a fifth dimensional being, they're consistent throughout all universal media in that universe. So that means Pee Wee Herman has been bothering Batman in this universe multiple times.
And welcome to the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
No, Kevin Bacon has nothing to do with this.
So say it one more time.
Kevin Bacon has nothing to do with this. Now, Ted McGinley, he can be connected.
No, but seriously though, but again, Peacemaker has definitely been fun. I like the fact that they're introducing certain aspects of it. Like I said, we won't go into detail for it right now, just because we want to discuss it as it comes down the road. But you know, they did have a lot of Easter eggs in there, especially with the helmets and the ability. Each helmet has a certain ability.
And let's stay away from the scabies helmet. Let's just leave that one there. That's also something that we need to bring up. Is this one actually has after credit scenes, but I feel like they are deleted scenes.
They are deleted scenes.
Okay.
I love that fact. And also at the same time, they actually did show one scene in Suicide Squad that we didn't get to see. Remember, and of course, I'm gonna say this because you're gonna see this in the first 5 minutes of the show anyway. So for all those that don't remember the Suicide Squad, when Amanda Waller was about to kill the entire Suicide Squad, that one lady clocked her upside the head with a golf club. Turns out the first scene they show is her getting arrested. So I was like, okay, so James Gunn, James Gunn is a content creator guy. So of course he's going to give us a lot more behind the scenes stuff, and like Joe said, you're going to see a lot more behind the scenes and lead stuff. So always watch to the end. I know. Really, in this day and age, I shouldn't have to say that when it comes to comic book movies and shows.
Well, we should, because Hawkeye kept saying, "Oh, there's an after credit scene. Oh, there's an after credit scene. Oh, there's an after credit scene." There wasn't an after credit scene until episode 5 and 6.
I mean, yeah, but still, as Marvel and DC fans all together, we're used to sitting there waiting until the screen goes dark before we move on to something else. But yes, but as far as Peacemaker goes, it is definitely worth watching. We'll actually go more in depth with it next week, because like I said, we try to, when new stuff comes out, we try not to go into detail when it comes out. We try to give everybody a fair chance to watch it, really absorb it. I know probably after this podcast is over, I'm going to just go back and watch the first 3 episodes all over again. That's how awesome it was. But we will probably come back to it next Friday by the time the 4th episode's dropped, and then just go into detail from there where we think the story is going. So definitely check that out, because without children, if you're an adult, watch it. If you're a child, don't watch it. But again, enjoy it. But
we're not telling you how to parent, but we're telling you how to parent.
We're telling you how to parent. Let's just be honest about that. But another thing I wanted to point out, shifting gears for a second. I have to say very quickly, I've given up on Legends of Tomorrow. I don't usually give up on a lot of shows in CW. I mean, I didn't give up on Batwell. I held on for Batwoman. I won't say I gave up. I held on for Batwoman during the whole we can't let Kate Kane situation go. And even now, I'll talk about the most recent Batwoman as it just came back on air, continuous season, but we'll get to that later. But held on for Batwoman. Legends of Tomorrow, however, I have to finally let it go. I have to let it go just because I'm not sure where the showrunners are going with this show. I mean, it was a makeup of really little or unknown DC characters all across the board. Fair. But aside from one Constantine run where they had Matt Ryan as Constantine on there, it just fell flat. And even more so that they just ran out of stuff to do. So they started to be too comical. And then sometimes they got too cheesy. And then it's like, you didn't really have a lot of continuity with Legends of Tomorrow. So I hate to say this, Joe, for the first time, I am actually opening up the movie TV graveyard, and I'm adding Legends of Tomorrow to it. I cannot bring myself to watch it anymore, just because it's really gotten that bad. But speaking of things that Joe may or may not have watched completely, I try to say this. I'm trying to say this with a straight face. I am failing miserably. Naomi. Joe, would you like to give your response to that?
I am. I'm typing on my phone instead.
I'm sorry. You guys, before we went live, I had to ask Joe what he thought about Naomi, which again was the newest superhero show on the CW. And if you've been watching our podcast about Naomi, Joe doesn't have an issue with Naomi as a superhero or as a character. He has an issue with a certain author with a certain author / showrunner that always brings Naomi into something like an albatross and it kills it.
Yeah.
Which to his point, he's right. Anytime I'm not gonna say the person's name, but anytime this
I haven't liked Brian Michael Bendis since he did his New Avengers run.
Damn.
He went and killed Tomasi's Superman, which is like the only time I've ever read Superman since he died. Or wasn't part of the JLI.
Okay.
He is just he has Roggled his last czar.
I was trying to be nice. Joe said bumping. Joe chose violence. But
I'm literally drinking out of 3 mugs to pass time on this.
But okay, so the CW did actually show Naomi's first episode. I watched it and I have concerns. Joe tried to watch it. I give it to Joe. Joe always does try to watch something. Now,
after the second time she passed out, I did the same thing as The Matrix. Turned it off. Went to go watch something else. No, actually, I went to go play more Mech Warrior. And then read a synopsis. That way I could just talk about it on the show. Fair
enough. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like I said, Naomi's fairly new. Not going to go into details of it. It felt this episode, this starting episode didn't really feel, it felt more Scooby-Doo than it actually did feel superhero-ish. Like the whole coming of age thing, you're trying to introduce a race of the Hawkmen. You're trying to, of course, if you know the story, of course, you know that she's not from here, but still how they're trying to introduce it, it just felt flat. Now, for all those that did watch Naomi, let us know in the comments below what you think about it. I just, maybe it's one of those we didn't get around the first episode, so we're gonna wait till the next episode and try to do it better. I mean, I said the same thing about Stargirl. Stargirl to me didn't get better until episode 4, where either the showrunner figured out this formula or somebody did. So I'm willing to give Naomi, trying to give it those 4 episodes to see what it can do. But just like I said, the first episode, it just felt flat. It really did. But moving right along, though, I did actually want to catch the other 2 CW shows real quick before we get into Boba Fett. First, talk about Lois and Superman, which probably was the brightest spot on the CW roster with this most recent episode. Which, Joe, I'm pretty sure you say, "Oh well, I'm gonna be."
No, actually, I completely forgot the show premiered this week, so that's on me.
Okay, so I'm going to go very quickly over this because I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm not going to spoil too much for you, except to tell you to watch the end. I like the direction they're going with this. Of course, with the parallel, they're actually picking up from Before Christmas episode with the conclusion of the battle with Morgan Steele and the Superman Eradication Squad. And it actually does have a couple of twists, which I did like. And I like the new angle they're going with, which, again, I am not going to say. I am going to say that it's definitely worth watching at the moment. But next week, I will go more into detail about where I think they're going with it, especially that they may be going down a very familiar storyline because they introduced, well, it may or may not be who we think it is at the very end. It could be one of 2 people, but we'll leave that there. Again, if you've seen Lois Superman this week, let us know what you think about it. I thought it was a great episode. And once Joe watches it and he comes back with us for the next week's episode, I want to know his take on who he thinks the person is, because they always show a glimpse. and we all know what happens when we get glimpses. We tend to speculate.
And then they go to Joe, and Joe has to sit there and think. And then I know who it is, but I can't say anything because it'd be a
Oh,
spoiler.
you can. Oh,
And
you
then
can
I
say.
know that. And then I have to go to therapy. And then I have to come back because I can't afford the bills.
You're gonna
Also,
say it.
Also, next episode, Diggle directs. So this will be a good one.
I was gonna say you're gonna say it anyway. And speaking of Diggle, I know Joe. Joe. Did you want to get that? Do you want to say that news, or were you gonna talk about
for all the news I got for comics? I got quite a bit.
Okay, because I was gonna wait for you to say because Joe did actually bring light to me on this. That of course we all want John Diggle. Well, we all want Diggle to be Green Lantern. Let's just be honest. That
we all want John Diggle to use his real name, John Stewart, and be Green Lantern.
We want him to literally be Green Lantern. I mean, the entire Arrowverse and CW fans have been crying for this. But he is going to be a part of a new show. Did they ever give the show a name, or did they give a synopsis?
Justice U.
Okay. Oh wow.
It's literally sky high.
Okay, because I was gonna say basically just 21 Jump Street with superheroes. So the synopsis behind Justice U is that Diggle is going to be leading a group of future heroes in today's society, in school, trying to help them, trying to train them to be better people, be better heroes. But my thing is, like I said before, the synopsis sounds okay, but I'm like, he's still not Green Lantern, and I'm sorry. He deserves to be Green Lantern, especially with that little tease y'all gave us in Infinite Crisis where he opens up a box and it flashes green. I'm like, what is at that point? Why? But again, I digress. Hey, Vaughn, how's it going, man? He was saying hi. He was saying hi to us. But again, Lois Superman definitely worth watching. Batwoman definitely worth watching. I am loving the fact of where in the story that. Really quick, I like the twist that they did. That they did not, above all else, and I'm going to just go ahead and spoil this, but they did not make Mary is not Poison Ivy, but she has she has Poison Ivy influences only because they are actually bringing in Pamela Isley, the actual Poison Ivy, who has been held in a sort of stasis by Batman to where she is actually out. So I like the fact of that twist and the fact they're trying to introduce that is he's not Joker, but he's Joker.
He is Joker.
They did say he's Joker.
So that was something I was saving for that. Nick Cregan says,
I'm sorry.
We'll bring total effing chaos to the show. And I'm like, so this is Joker 2 for this universe?
Okay, so so it is Joker 2. Yeah, that's why I thought it was Joker 2. I thought it was Joker 2 because he's not the same as far as, but I thought it was Joker 2. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on your toes.
Batwoman has her own rogues gallery. Why do we need Batman villains?
Because again, CW likes to tie bigger name stuff. Vaughn, what's the word on Naomi? The word on Naomi, Vaughn, is wait till episode.
He pushed himself. I gave up halfway through.
I was gonna say wait till episode 2, but I was gonna say that. I was gonna say, Vaughn, for Naomi, the first episode is gonna be a little bit of a. It's gonna be a wade through. You're gonna have to muscle through that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm still giving it 4 episodes, see if it gets any better. But that first episode was it was kind of rough. That's all I'm saying, kind of rough. But anyway, other news that I got, other television shows I want to review before we get to. Joe came out firing with both barrels. You ain't lying, Vaughn. But Book of Boba Fett. If you guys have not been aware, that is probably again another great Disney show. But Joe, you've seen Boba Fett. What do you think of the what were we on? I think it's only been 3 episodes so far.
Thank you, people. You know who I say when I say this. Need to find something else in your life to complain about. There are larger issues in this world other than there are goddamn zippers in Star Wars.
Oh, that article? Is the article about zippers? The article about him taking off his helmet?
No, the article is about how there are zippers in Star Wars, which is apparently supposed to have been a hard canon thing that is now upsetting the entire fan base community. Where do you people really have nothing better to do?
They're complaining
It's
about zippers.
zippers.
Wait. Are you messing with me? They are really
No.
complaining about zippers in Star Wars?
Yes. To which
Wow.
I will point out the same thing everybody else does to people like this. We see Luke Skywalker in the most beloved of all Star Wars films, Empire Strikes Back,
Right.
zipping up his flight suit.
And there's zippers. There were zippers in the original Star Wars. In New Hope. We saw the fighters zip up. Matter of fact, we saw fighters zip up in New Hope. We saw stormtroopers zip up in Empire Strikes Back. We saw Luke zip up in Return
Empire.
of the Jedi.
No, he actually wears a button doublet.
No, there was no. Wait. Which one? Which movie?
Return of the Jedi. His black outfit. That's a double.
That was a button.
That's a button doublet.
Well, but Lando was zipped up though. Lando's cloak had a zipper. So, I mean, what are we really?
I am not a diehard Star Wars fan. I will not die on this hill. But you
really,
people, I don't know what it is with this. This is why I converted from Star Wars to Star Trek.
Stormtroopers have to pee, people. Really, Vaughn? Stormtroopers have to pee.
Look, they don't have the advanced technology that Ghostbusters do with the P2. No, seriously, I really enjoyed it. It was super weird seeing space Vespas, but sure. I saw the meme of this, and I will absolutely agree to this. They kind of remind me of the chronocycles from Power Rangers Time Force.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
We were just missing the Green Ranger, the Pink Ranger.
We were missing the Pink Ranger. You're right.
But it was fine. I enjoy the back and forth. I know a lot of people complain about the first episode, but the first episode is really there to explain how the hell he got out of the Sarlacc pit.
Right, which we always argued.
Most boring questions ever, with the exception of when they clearly said what it was in Tales of the Bounty Hunter.
Right.
Which at that point, it was his best friend Dengar that got him out of there. But, Also, we have Black Chrysanthemum as a standard character in that series. That is amazing.
Oh, I love the fact that take the Wookiee assassin. Say one thing about the Hutts. Say one thing about the Hutts in Star Wars. When they tell you to sleep lightly, they mean it. Because that one Wookiee came out of nowhere and literally yanked him out of the healing chamber. It was like, did you think we were kidding? And the whole time, it's like I was there laughing because at the end of it all, where he released him, he's like, no hard feelings, man. I mean, it comes with the job. I thought he would turn around and hire him at that point. I was like, you need a job? I was like, he's gonna.
No, but he also now has a life debt. So
yeah.
So maybe not a life debt, but this may be one of those bounty hunter you owe me scenario.
Yeah.
Which, if Black Chrysanthemum's around and this is taking place in there, that means they could potentially cameo Dr. Aphra.
Could. Although I laugh.
Also, we have Danny Trejo as a Rancor breeder, which is the best thing ever. We also acknowledge something that actually got brought up in Star Wars Rebels, or not Rebels, excuse me, Bad Batch, where that Rancors are actually not that bad of creatures. They're not like mindless brutes. But if you train them to fight, they'll fight. But they can be trained, and they're very actually docile creatures to begin with. Although now we all collectively feel horrible because we got to know the Rancor that Luke killed as a baby.
Technically, in Luke's defense, it was kind of kill or be killed at the moment. So
yeah, but we got to see him as a baby, so that makes it wrong. But now we just have Boba. Now we just get the image that everybody wants of Boba Fett going like, "I'm going to ride this."
Although I will say this, I like the fact that they did kind of flash back to that race that race that saved his life. And you can see where the mark. I'm sorry, what?
The Tuscans?
Yeah. where you can see where he keeps a lot of their history on his armor, especially with the markings. The weapon that he usually keeps that was like that staff with the conated edge to it, and you can see that actually is imprinted in most of his weapons. I was like, okay, that's a cool backstory, which again some people didn't like. I'm like, I like that kind of back. We get to see exactly who he becomes.
It makes me feel bad that Anakin went and slaughtered all the Tusken Raiders, even the children.
Well,
but especially the children, because Anakin be killing those kids.
Well, I mean, we kind of figured that, that was just that Sith level that Palpatine was just grooming him for. Use your hate.
Especially on the kids, though. Like, really unload on the kids.
You would think he could have, but,
No, he did. Remember, he even says in Attack of the Clones, he killed the men, the women, even the children.
Even the children. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
What does he do in the Jedi Temple? Kills more kids. He just likes killing kids.
Well, that's what happens when you misunderstand your Sith powers. But
go get Dexter. We have a serial killer on our hands.
He just didn't want to admit he liked killing. But yeah, but like I said,
he even tried to kill his own kids.
That is true. That is true. He did. I don't even. You know what? Real quick, did he really try to kill Luke? Let's be honest.
Well, he definitely nearly killed Leia. We know that.
Yeah, but I'm like, he kind of treated Luke with kid gloves, though. I mean, it's like I'm fighting. He's like, I'm fighting you, but I'm still recruiting. He was really trying to kill him. That's what I'm saying. The whole time he's like, join us. It's like a recruitment with force. It's like you could be someone. You got Palpatine sitting over there. Yes, give in to your hate. Darth Vader, join us. It's like, are y'all fighting or y'all recruiting? Which one are y'all doing? It's like having that
very hostile interview environment.
It's pretty much. But no. But real quick, yeah. Boba Fett, definitely worth watching. And we will still cover that as new episodes come out. I didn't actually if they're doing a 10-episode run or a 13-episode run. I did not really check on that before I really found that answer out. But either way, we'll ride that till the wheels fall off. But also, as Joe's getting ready to queue up his news, I did want to say again, I said anime debate because I have two animes that I love that I say that right now you should be watching. And one is Demon Slayer. Now, or Kimetsu no Yaiba, if you follow the manga. But Demon Slayer right now is actually in its Entertainment District arc. I've actually mentioned it several times on this podcast. It's actually one of the top 10 animes I'm trying to watch while still trying to lead a productive life, which means a lot of nights I'm not getting any sleep. But hey, comes with the territory. But right now, Demon Slayer is in its second big manga arc called the Entertainment District arc. So it is definitely, in my mind, worth watching, especially with the fact of the mystery swordsman, which again, a mystery swordsman that actually has the same type of earrings as Tanjiro and red hair, which again, kind of makes me think, like I said, I'm not trying to spoil it for anybody because I've read way off of the manga about who the mystery swordsman is, and they actually do reveal it. But I like the fact of how that story is going to come out. Especially with Tanjiro still kind of leaning more toward his fire style versus his water style. And again, with Zenitsu and Inosuke, it's those two to me are comedy gold, especially Inosuke. Inosuke just wants to fight everybody. Zenitsu just wants to be a woman lover, but subconsciously that man is an assassin. Or unless somebody's trying to defile women, one of the two. But the Sound of Shira, he is interesting and almost got banned in China because
polygamy.
Say what?
Because of polygamy.
Yeah, because he has 3 wives. He has 3 wives in the arc. So
there was a whole Futurama episode covering this.
Yep. And Zenitsu was snapping. Zenitsu was snapping the entire time. How do you have 3 wives? It's kind of funny. Well, again, Demon Slayer, like I said before, if you guys seen it, let me know what you think about it. I think it's great. And like I said, I still want to see where. Like I said, it will have an ending because the actual creator of it said it's going to be ending. It's not going to have a very long running series, as he said that he already has an ending for it in mind. But I'm just curious to see where it does go as far as that goes. The second one I want to mention is Attack on Titan. Now I will say this at first, just like I said about Peacemaker. Um, Attack on Titan is not for kids. It's not. And if you hadn't figured it out from the first season, I don't know what to tell you. But Attack on Titan, again, it's in its final season. Actually, it's actually starting the second half of its final season. And again, they did the one thing that I'm so glad they did, because they did get very story heavy. And I say narrative heavy in the second season, because a lot of people just want to see the Titan fights. I like watching the Titans fights, except with Aaron Yeager's Titan, when he was fighting the Founding Titan, he was fighting the Beast Titan, Armor Titan. I forgot the smaller one. Looks like a small person Titan. It'll come back to
When
me
does
later.
he fight the Mighty Titans?
Say what?
When does he fight the Mighty Titans?
I had to think about that for a second. The Beast Titan is still the most funniest thing to me until what's his face took him out. But
Does he ever fight Remember the Titans?
the funny part is that in Attack on Titan, the word Titan is not used a lot. They will call them anything else under the sun, but I think maybe I want to say 6 times they mentioned the actual Titans. They call them
Clash of the Titans.
Oh well, that's too close. That's too close to name branding. I mean, too close to licensing. We all know how the Far East feels about licensing. Don't believe me? Try to do something Gundam. But but real quick though, yes. But Attack on Titan and Attack on Titan Demon Slayer, definitely 2 of my favorites. But beyond that, Joe, that's really all that I have, sir. So what do you have from your side of the woods?
All right. So aside from getting a copious amount of Gundam, which I can show the group, because this is my Christmas present myself, I've got this much Gundam to go through.
Is that Wing or is that I can't
No,
say?
I would never get Wing.
You wouldn't get Wing? That's one of my favorite series.
Oh no, I'm a Universal Century fanboy. So we got Zeta, Double Zeta, Victory Gundam, and Recongusta in G. So I've got quite a bit to watch.
You got a while. that's at least, let's see, between that one, I'm almost certain that's what, 3?
There are 15 episodes apiece with the exception of Recongusta in G.
You're somewhere between 210 and 240. Okay. But all right, sir. So you ready me to add your side of the screen? What you got?
Okay, so we got. Oh yeah, you can add it. So these are the animes I'm watching right now, which for me is something I have to really, really push myself to do, because I am an old anime man. I have been watching this stuff since before some of you were born. I've been watching this before possibly even some of your parents were born. I'm 38. It's a possibility. So first off, we got, let me pull up the name because I can't read that small text on that. Bisco. So this is a post-apocalypse Japan where a disease called rust is going around. The main character with the goggles is Bisco, who is a mushroom protector who has the ability through bow and arrow to make giant mushrooms appear everywhere. The secondary character is a doctor who is trying to look for the mythical panacea mushroom, which can potentially cure the rust. Down here is his sister, which, as you can see right there, she is rusted. She's the captain of the guard of the city that they are currently inhabiting. And I have no idea who this character is because we are only on episode 1.
Okay.
Also, dude's mentor rides a giant crab.
I was going to say, looking for mushrooms, I had so many questions, but go ahead.
Yes, I really wish they'd actually play mushroom hunting from Cowboy Bebop in this. But no, this actually, to me, the reason why I'm watching this is this has a very Trigun feel to it.
Okay.
Where it's kind of a dirty Western, but also not at the same time. Kind of like a future Western. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. Next up, we have Orient. This is our generic shonen anime of the season. Dude and his best friend have swords that do special things against Oni. I have no idea who this is. We are only on episode 2. He just got introduced. He's the captain of a band of samurai, where samurai in this world are treated as second-class citizens. because they're all ruled over Oni. The Oni in this look like cats with sucked-in faces and stars until they transform into hideous monsters. Um, Again, this is our generic shonen anime. I'll give it a shot. This is my highlight of the season. This looks a little weird to most people if they know me. This is Miss Kuramitsu of the Monster Development Department. I immediately fell in love with this because what this is this is a story about Kuromitsu, and we just know him as Sensei right now. And they work for a monster development team for all the evil organizations across Japan. So your Power Rangers, your Kamen Riders, your Metal Heroes, she is the one designing all the monsters that
Interesting.
they fight. And it's a business style anime. So like the first episode is literally about a production meeting where they have to go to the main organization they work for, give status updates for the other organizations while proposing another monster to fight Sword Saint Buster, which is this dude here. All the Super Sentai and Metal Heroes, the cool thing about this is that all the Super Sentai, Kamen Riders, and Metal Heroes, and we will just go with Henshin Ninjas, because there's not a real definitive term for some of the heroes. They are all real people. They are what are called local heroes in Japan. So
Mhm.
they are being featured as the primary antagonists to our protagonists, and I think that's really cool that that's how they're promoting local heroes. My favorite thing is they propose a horrible monster to where everyone just calls BS on them. And then this dude shows up. He's like the big bad who everybody fears. And he just look at us like, oh, we're sorry. Please don't kill us. Like, what are you talking about? You come to me. I could have extended the deadline. No problem. If you needed more budget to produce a better monster, all you had to do was ask. We really value our employees. And, I get a call from HR when you guys don't take your days off.
Dang.
And they're like,
That sounded a little too real, but go ahead.
it's like, you two, all of our workers here are the most valuable thing we have. We are nothing without you. And they're like, oh, thank you. But fail me again, it'll be your last. Yes, sir.
Dang.
It's just one of those things of he's just a very polite HR, just like, could have come to me. We could have extended the deadline. That we're not overworking yourself. Why am I getting calls from HR that you guys aren't taking your days off? I mean, you guys deserve a break. You work very hard for the company.
But at the same time, don't let HR call. Don't have HR call me again.
No, just don't fail again.
Dang.
So I really enjoy this. It's it's just funny. It's a Sentai thing, which I'm already in for, but I really like workplace comedies because Japan has just such a drastic work culture that when they do a comedy of it, it's hilarious.
Nice.
And for those of you who can't agree with me, because if you're watching a Gretzko, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I tried watching that. It's not. Hey, I can understand his anger. I can understand the thing's anger, especially at work. I can understand his anger.
All right, the thing that throws everybody off. Q. This is a slice of life involving these 12 girls. The reason I am watching this is because this looks at an aspect of an industry and shows how that industry works. So this looks at how a talent agency works and how the voice acting industry works. Yes, is it moe a little bit? Yes, I will wholeheartedly agree. I refuse to play New Gundam Breaker because of the amount of moe in it. I'm not hyper cutesy, but if you can show me a competent thing that shows me how an industry works, I will watch it from beginning to end. It's why I watch Shirobako, because that shows how the anime industry works very in-depthly. It's why I watch Sakura Quest, because that shows how rural tourism works. I'm just fascinated to see how things work, so I'm going to be keeping up with this because I want to see how talent agencies work and how voice acting agencies work. I mean, there's no way I'm going to be able to remember every single one of these girls' names. I don't even know one of these girls' names at the moment. I'm just there to learn. I'm just there because I want to learn about how an industry works, and this show just will do it for me.
Fair enough.
Next up, we got Tribe 9. Uh, this happens in the year 20XX, so already I want to know where Mega Man X is at all times in the show, and we better get a Zero cameo. So Tokyo split up into 9 territories, and the way to win these territories is to play and beat the king of these territories at Extreme Baseball.
So it's basically the Hunger Games with baseball.
Yes.
Okay.
I have not yet watched this, but this is still on my going to watch because just the ludicrousy of what that sounds like. I am fairly certain that this is a laser beam saber bat. I just want to watch it because of the absurdity of it.
Well, I mean, Haiku is also about baseball, and that still was good. So could be
Haiku. That's volleyball.
No, I'm sorry, that's wrong.
You mean Diamond No Ace?
Thank you. That's what I was thinking of. That's what I was thinking of.
Diamond No Ace is good. It's not as good as Major, but
I just love the Hunger Games with baseball style.
In the year 20XX, meaning Mega Man X is happening somewhere right now in this world.
Somewhere under the Capcom brand.
Somewhere in the Capcom brand, there's a Reploid and Zero and all sorts of weird things. But in Tokyo, baseball.
It's the safest thing they can do. I'm sorry, that was wrong. Wrong.
All right, what else do we got? Just keep on going with the comic news.
Yeah, keep going.
We discussed this a little bit, but David Ramsey is going to be starring in the Arrowverse, Justice U. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This is Diggle gets to do his own version of Sky High. We talked about this already.
He still should be Green Lantern, but yeah.
Oh yeah, he definitely should be Green Lantern. I'm guessing that maybe how he gets his students, whoever it is. This has just been announced. This is only getting into the pilot phase now. I think also David Ramsey may be directing the pilot.
Nice.
So, I mean, he's already an accomplished director in the terms of CW. So, I trust him. Now it's just up to CW or not if they're going to pick Justice U. If they do, I guarantee you this is where they'll stick Green Arrow's daughter because she doesn't have her own series.
The only thing I worry about is that the CW is up for sale right now.
And oh, yeah. That's tossing everything up in the air.
Right.
Moving right along. We get the Knights of 10 or the Knights of X to send. So this is the follow-up to the Excalibur series. I am really looking forward to this. Teenie Howard is going to be staying on. Teenie Howard was the writer of Excalibur. We get artist Bob Quinn. We get to see who our mutants for this newest rendition of Excalibur are. So we get Gambit, Shatterstar, his boyfriend Richter, Betsy, who is this? Warlock's wife, Bay of the Blood Moon, Betsy's sister-in-law Megan, Rachel Summers. The dragon is actually Jubilee's adopted son, whose mutant ability, when he's in the world of magic, becomes a giant dragon. So I am really looking forward to this. This is popping back up in March with all the other X books. We are also promised, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a reason why this is called Book of X or possibly Knights of X or Knights of 10, meaning there are 2 cast members that we are not showing yet at this point. So I cannot wait for this book. The Excalibur was right up there with Marauders and New Mutants to me, so I'm really looking forward to this.
I just like the fact that you have Mutant Search for the Holy Grail. That sounds like it's going to be good.
Well, it's the only thing that's going to topple Merlin and Arthur, considering Arthur can't hold a candle to Betsy. So, but Merlin's doing some funky stuff in other worlds, so they got to get there.
That's fair.
Moving right along, Marvel is relaunching Amazing Spider-Man in April. Zeb Wells will be continuing where we leave off in that Spider-Man. John Romita Jr. comes back for art. I am both hyped and unhyped because I really like Zeb Wells' writing. Oof. I do not like John Romita Jr. as an artist.
That was the Spider-Man they just the picture you just showed was
Well, you have this weird thing where like John Romita Jr. I felt always should have been writing
it's
what's
just
the word? The Walking Dead, because it just
I,
has very square like looks to people.
I can see what you're saying that you're not a fan of the artist because it's just I see what they're trying to do and that drawing style doesn't fit. It
Yeah,
really
so I
doesn't
said
fit.
it's a 50-50 with me. The big promo art we got is Peter standing in a crater holding some sort of spider device and screaming to the heavens with most of his costume obliterated. And it
Mhm.
just says, Peter, what have you done? So it's Peter crying in a giant crater. So we know this will have some fun. This will launch, I want to say in April because Beyond ends in March, I want to think.
Okay.
We're also getting a renumbering. So this is going to be back to Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man #1, meaning once Beyond is done, that run, numbered run is done. They're still going to keep the legacy numbering, but this is just letting us know, hey, a new arc of Amazing is starting.
Okay.
We talked about this a little earlier. Nick Keegan says his new Joker will be Total F and Chaos. Sure. Uh,
Basically, Joker is basically it's a nice Joker 2 impression, but yes.
the only thing that comes to mind when I think Joker with dreadlocks is Joker from the Batman,
Yeah.
which is not a bad thing. He's one of those Jokers that takes some getting used to because you're not used to a dreadlock capoeira Joker.
I mean, it's a Joker that's a different version, which again, we've had Silver Age Joker, Gangster Joker, we've
But
had Anarchy Joker, we've
think
had
the thing that cemented the Joker to me was the Batman versus Dracula, where Batman and Joker, who's been turned into a vampire, fight in a blood bank.
yeah,
And they have to white out when the blood spills, and Joker just is slowly becoming whiter and whiter,
yeah.
indicating he is just drenched in blood. And that's probably one of the best looks I've seen for him. So there's that.
I kind of dig it though. Like I said, when I was talking about Batwoman, I dig it as far as his character goes. And again, I don't want to go, like I said, try not to go too much into spoiler territory because of what happens to him. But yeah, I like his character on the show. And like I said, and also to the showrunners and Batwoman, thank you for finally listening and finally allow. I mean, granted, Batwoman does have her own, as Joe has pointed out. Batman does. Batwoman has her own rogues gallery. Why it's not being used? That's between CW and DC. I don't
It's
know,
a very limited rogue gallery. It's about as small as Wonder Woman's, but she
but it
has
can be
her own.
used. But it
Why
can
are
be
we
used.
getting another Joker?
I think because anytime Batman is introduced, there has to be a Joker. It's almost like a balance of scales. It's almost like a balancing scale. You can't have Batman without Joker. And the same sense. Like, well, nope. I can counter argument to myself because in Lois and Superman, Lex Luthor is never mentioned. There's not. I mean, Superman exists, and somewhere in the world of Lois and Superman, Lex Luthor exists, but they don't mention him at all.
Isn't it John Crichton or something?
Yeah, Crichton,
Okay.
John Cryer.
Okay, John Cryer. I can
Yeah,
never remember his name because I stopped watching Supergirl.
yeah, John Cryer, which in my mind, excellent take on Lex Luthor. By
Oh
the way,
God, yes.
excellent take on him. But yeah, but what I'm saying is there's not. I mean, he's in the universe, but they never mention him. So that is kind of the counter argument to my point. But no, I'm looking forward to his Joker. His as long as his Joker is better than Gotham when they tried to make I can't remember the actor's name. It's not his fault. I'm not blaming that actor on Gotham at all. He was given crap and was told to make lemonade. But when they tried to say he wasn't the Joker, and then at the end of it all, you saw the metamorphosis, and I'm like, that's not gonna work. But
Wait,
again,
isn't it the same dude that's oh Shut up, Cal Kestis. That's
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
Yeah. That's all I was like. It's just I'm looking forward to him. I think wasn't he the same guy getting who was cast as Adam Warlock? Isn't it the same guy?
I'm not sure. I just know that he was Cal Kestis.
Yeah. But no, I can't blame him for Gotham. I halfway watched Gotham just because, how do you have a world without Batman? But still, some people liked it. That's fine. But I'm looking forward to what Nick Cregan does with his Joker. But I'm sorry. I didn't mean to overtake the
You're
segment.
fine. We need to discuss it anyways. Final bit of news from Comic World. Leslie Grace at 8 p.m., literally as we were setting up the show, revealed her first look at herself in costume for the Batgirl movie. Honestly, I don't find anything wrong with it. I really like it. This is the early New 52 version of Batgirl. That's fine. This is supposedly Batgirl Year One, also fine. She's got red hair. She's got everything. I don't have a problem with it. I know we're a bit cautious on Batgirl having her own film. I think it's fine.
I'm trying. I am trying. I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna be optimistic.
You're being cautiously optimistic.
Thank you. That's about the best way I can put that, because I'm just, when it comes to standalone Batman movies where you're trying to introduce, I was hoping for a Red Hood and the Outlaws, but I take what I can get. But yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. The costume for it to be Year One, I don't expect it to be. I did not expect it to be comically accurate. I wanted them to take some risk as far as, because things that translate in comics don't really translate well to real life, especially with the limitations on what you can do with fabric and costume and trying to make it appropriate, but also wearable and also movable. Can't knock that. But I mean, you're right. For the costume, the Batgirl costume looks amazing, and like I said, like you hit the nail on the head when you said cautiously optimistic. You are not kidding, because I am hoping. I would hope that the same people that took that much care in doing Shazam and doing Aquaman will be the same way with the Batgirl movie. Although I will be watching the Batman when it comes out in March anyway, so who am I to talk? But yeah.
Right here's the costume side by side. This is the 2014 redesign for the comic. What she looks like now. It's pretty spot on, all things considered. I mean, the biggest complaint and this is just me nitpicking, I think it's perfectly fine.
Not having the yellow
gloves aren't yellow and the hip pack isn't yellow. Oh well.
I mean, yeah, well, it's not like we worry about zippers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got it. Ever since you told me that, I'm like, Star Wars fans sometimes just make me wonder. But no, I mean, this, like I said, the outfit, the entire costume looks great. I have no complaints. I just worry about. My thing is, I hope they give her a good story. That's my thing. I want DC. You don't understand DC. I want y'all to win. I do. I want you to win. Yes, I crapped all over Zack Snyder because he was a terrible director. But let me be honest. I want you guys to have a winning season. I think you are capable of doing that. I just wish you found better ways. But again, like Joe said, cautiously optimistic. We're just going to see where it goes from there. And yeah, that's about the best way I can put that. Did you want your screen back up?
Just a moment. I'm super fuzzy now for some reason, and I don't know why.
We talked about Star Wars fans. They found us.
Yeah. The force is using my camera.
We talked about Star Wars fans. They found you.
It's okay. I got a phaser. Yeah. Okay. Now we're better. Moving on to comics. Actual comics. Mm-hmm. First off, we got Daredevil, but this is the second chapter in Chip Zdarsky's run. As we notice, it is not The Man Without Fear. This is his newest book, Daredevil Woman Without Fear. This is written by Chip Zdarsky, artist by Rafael de la Torre, and the reason why it's Woman Without Fear, the new Daredevil is going to be Elektra for a while because Matt's currently dealing with Devil's Reign. This is a good jumping on point. The only thing you pretty much got to read is Devil's Reign to get caught up with what's going on. This does take some pages from Devil's Reign 1 and 2. And then just kind of leaves Elektra, like, just doing her Daredevil stuff because Matt's dealing with what I already said. She runs into someone she went to law school with. They have coffee. She sleeps with Matt a little bit. Confronts Kingpin. And we get to see some of her backstory. She's being tracked by someone who potentially trained her while she was with the Hand. And then we end where we see her in Devil's Reign issue 2, face to face in the snowy outskirts of New York, facing off against Kraven.
Interesting.
It looks to be an interesting fight because it's Kraven the Hunter versus Elektra.
I'm trying to think. Have they ever have Elektra and Kraven ever crossed paths?
No.
Okay, I thought so. I didn't think about that for a second. I'm like, they never crossed paths before.
I have already said how high I regarded the Daredevil series by Chip Zdarsky.
Mm-hmm.
This just continues it. This is just the next chapter in his tale.
Cool.
Moving right along, Superior 4. This is a Devil's tie-in. This is written by Zach Thompson and art by David Tintu. This is the Dr. Octopus tie-in, which I love that right now, because Ben Reilly is back, Dr. Octopus is back in his white suit. And this white suit Otto is always my favorite version of Otto. Because he's one of those, I'm a scientist, I'm a brilliant man, but I'm also going to look sharp while I kick your butt.
He's gonna be fashionably conscious.
Oh, yeah. So, this is a tie-in. The best way I can sum this up is Otto is reenacting the movie The One. So through a dimensional portal that, because he is held up in the Baxter building, because he's evicted Reed and Sue and the rest, and the other Fantastic Four on the run because of Devil's Reign. Otto has his he's in Wonderland because he gets full reign over the Baxter building. So the first thing he does is he goes and gets other Otto Octaviuses out of the multiverse. So he goes and gets Otto Banner, or Dr. Octopus Hulk, Otto Cage, the Dr. Octopus Ghost Rider, and Otto Howlett, the Dr. Octopus Wolverine. And what his goal is to become the superior Dr. Octopus. Right off the bat, the other three Ottos immediately call BS on his plan and go, "You're just mad you lost your superior Spider-Man body of a stupid deal you made with Mephisto." And of course, Otto's like, "No, I just want to become the best out of everybody in the multiverse." And they're like, "Sure, we'll run with your plan for now." So now they are dimension hopping, and Otto is killing the other Ottos he sees as inferior and draining their essence into himself to become the superior Otto Octavius. And naturally, their first victim is Otto Parker, the Otto Octavius that became Spider-Man. Naturally. It's just the one. That's all this is. It's just the one.
And the funny part is, I was going to sit there and say, does anyone ever mention the collapse of the universe if every single one?
They like tell him point blank.
Because that's the thing, I'm like, if you take everybody out, the universe could collapse on itself.
Oh yeah, no, they told him point blank.
Okay.
He's like, it won't collapse. Why do you think I've can't left you three alive? And they just look at like, because you can't deal with us.
Dang.
He just, of course, in his own Otto Octavius way of scoff and like writes it off. It's a fun book, but it's very blatantly just a ripoff of The One.
Okay.
Next up, we got Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know what issue. We'll have to look when we go to the cover. Cody Ziegler and art by Paco Medina. This is issue 85. So this is a continuation. This happens like almost right before Devil's Reign. Otto and Ben fight. Um, Otto does make it to the CEO of the Beyond Corporation before Ben intervenes. Otto gets some man on some very sensitive data. Uh, he Ben lets his rage get the better of him, and even Otto's like, "You're the other boy, aren't you?"
Dang. Not you're the other.
He was like, I have fought Spider-Man many times, and he does not get this angry. You're the other boy, aren't you? The one that I didn't have to deal with.
Dang.
Well, it's true because at that point he was dead. Remember?
Yeah. But still,
Carolyn Trainer was Ben's Dr. Octopus.
Yeah,
so
but
he
was
was like, we've never fought, so you were clearly not my Spider-Man. It's like, but you work for the Beyond Corporation, and are you sure they're on the up and up? And Ben's like, well, I mean, they got me over a barrel, and I gotta believe them no matter what. I was like, here's a data drive. Have fun reading. And then Otto just limps off to go do stuff in Devil's Reign. Meanwhile, Ben's reading it over, and those second thoughts are starting to pop in about what the Beyond Corporation is really about. Interesting book. Love it. The thing I love the most about this is Ben's interactions with his girlfriend Janine. It was not in this issue, but I love in the last issue. They literally go on a date. And Ben's phone ring, and he just asks her, like, how badly are you going to hurt me for answering this? She just goes like, oh, it'll be a swift death.
Damn.
And she just like, answer it. You just owe me some Thai food.
Just damn.
I love it. I love their interactions. They're such a cute couple. Moving right along. This is a holdover I want to talk about. It's Inferno.
Okay.
This is the end of the Jonathan Hickman era of X-Men. So, as we see right here, Inferno 3, Moira's missing. Charles and Magneto track her to a location where they meet up with both Nimrod, the Omega Sentinel, and the anti-mutant organization Orchis. What this issue does is there's a giant fight. Not between Orchis, because Omega Sentinel and Nimrod just kill all the humans on site. And Magneto and Charles fight and do their best, and they learn that humans are not the ones they have to look out for. Mutants do not have to worry about humans in the grand scheme of things. Humans will eventually get over their BS. It's the machines they gotta watch out for. Unfortunately, they're both killed by Omega Sentinel and Nimrod.
Dang.
So when they get reset, since Charles is the one that was fighting, his Cerebro can't back him up or Magneto up with that information. So they're backed up. When they come back, they are only backed up prior to them leaving. So they have no knowledge of that.
Ooh.
So they have no idea that they need to foster a bridge to humanity and start preparing to fight with the machines. Meanwhile, on the other end, Mystique and Destiny have Moira at gunpoint and shoot her, which we think kills her and resets the timeline. However, it's a gun Moira designed that Emma somehow got a hold of, and it's a gun that permanently erases mutant abilities because Moira doesn't like being a mutant.
Okay.
And in fact, one of her lives prior to this, she actually finds the cure for mutantism.
Oh, so they're going back. Okay. I was gonna say that's gonna be that storyline. Never mind. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Not so. In that timeline, that's the time where Destiny kills her by burning her alive.
Mm-hmm.
So now Moira has to run because she's no longer a mutant. So she is no longer protected by the laws of Krakoa. So Mystique goes in to kill her, but of all people, Cypher show up. And they're like, yeah, I can't let you do this. I've been watching Krakoa since Charles dropped me off, and I don't trust Charles. I don't trust Magneto. You know I don't trust the two of you. And I can personally talk to Krakoa. And I've been setting up this thing with Krakoa since day one, while Charles hasn't been on that island for a while. So he gives Moira a piece of Warlock to make a simulated arm, since Moira doesn't have an arm.
Yeah.
And then this is a nexus. What happens is a nexus point. So Destiny's like, well, I can't see what's going on because there's like multiple timelines that branch out of this point of thing. And there's like Destiny and Mystique's like, well, what happens? Like, well, we can kill him and kill her, but in the battle of this fight, you will die and they won't resurrect you.
Dang.
There's a possibility that we win, but I will die and they will never resurrect me because Moira will not allow it again. Because behind Cypher is his wife, Bay the Blood Moon, which is she's an unbeatable combatant from Krakoa. She's one of Apocalypse's kids.
Okay.
So Cypher married into the family rather well. And it's like, well, what's the third time? He's like, we leave, we let her live, we stay on the council, but we need to be watching our backs at all times from both the plants, the child, and the machine.
Jeez. That is a can't win situation.
No. So Mystique is like, fine, just let her leave. She's human now. I don't care. The problem I have with this issue is this kind of feels like when J. Michael Straczynski wrote Brand New Day and he was going to go in one direction and editorial told him, no, you're going in this direction.
Yeah.
And the last 4 pages were actually not written by J. Michael Straczynski. This kind of seems like that, where it just ends very abruptly. And like some of it's not resolved because, as you know, Jonathan Hickman went off to Substack with like a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
And passed off X-Men to Jerry Dugan. So I'm wondering if Jerry Dugan wrote the end of this, because it seems very disconjointed in the middle. So I definitely recommend this because this is the end of Inferno. This is the end of the Hickman era. Going forward with all the relaunches happening in March and April, we're in the Jerry Dugan run of X-Men, which I am more than okay with. I like his run and everything he's been on thus far, and I'm going to continue reading. But it just seems very disconjointed. Like, it says one person wrote the book, but I can kind of tell 2 people wrote the book. It's like the Justice League. You can tell where there's the Snyder, and you can tell where there's the Whedon.
Yeah.
And you can tell their disconjointedness.
Oh, wow. That's not... So basically, it's like reading a George R. R. Martin book.
It's just a totally inconsistent book.
Oh, I was going to say, it sounds like a Game of Thrones book that never got finished. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, Game of Thrones just won't happen. We just need to accept it and move on.
I refuse, but go ahead.
That man will die before that book is written.
Still refuse, but go ahead.
Okay. Rounding right out, Marauders 27. This is written by Jerry Dugan, speak of the devil. Art by Matteo Lolli and Phil Noto. So Joe already likes this book. This is the grand finale for this version of Marauders. Marauders will be returning in March, still with Kitty and Bishop, but she'll get a whole new team.
Okay.
This book had a lot of changing of the guard. Iceman and Emma Frost's brother leave to go do stuff because ever since Bobby terraformed all of Mars, he's wondering what his upper limits are, and he is literally fighting frost giants in Niflheim. To the point where he's beating them so badly, he yells at them, "Bring me the ones that fight Thor." And one of them yells back, "We are the ones that fight Thor."
Dang.
It's like, they even ask him, "Why are you here and why are you doing this?" It's like, well, I want to see how much I've grown. And plus, you guys attacked New York, so you're never going back. No, sir, we won't. We promise.
I'm still laughing. Bring me the ones that fight Thor. We are the ones that fight. I'm sorry. That part.
Oh, it was a great delivery. Bishop in Inferno masquerade as Blade and some other dude because apparently people just can't tell Bishop from Blade.
Uh-huh.
And trick the Vivendi, which are basically the Kids Hellfire Club equivalents, out of $8 billion by selling them 2-bit jury-rigged helicarriers, and then run off with the money. Callisto is on Madripoor being sheriff, and then we get a bunch of shift chains. Sebastian Shaw steps down as Black King of Hellfire Trading and gives it over to Lord Chantel. And his only thing is like, yeah, I did wrong by you. And Emma's like, yeah, she's taking over. And well, actually, Emma tells Lords like he's never going to give up, and he immediately looks at her and is like, "Oh no, I give up now. You can run it. I'm done.
Okay.
I've done bad by you. I've done wrong by you. This is how I can make up. The only request I have is please keep on Shino. My son is a retainer. By the way, don't trust him for crap. He's a snake. I raised him that way."
Dang.
The biggest passing of the guard in this book is Emma Frost relinquishes her title as White Queen. She goes to her daughters and says, "You guys can take over as White Queen. By the way, how are you doing this?" And all the cuckoos just goes like, whichever one of us is wearing the white uniform that day will be the runner. And then the girl, then she like, Emma just like says this really like, thinks this really mean thought to them. And goes like, "Mom, that's not nice. I mean, how would you like it if everybody in the world got to see you in your skull t-shirt wearing sweatpants?" And she just like gets this really quizzical look on her face. Is like, "I've raised you all so well."
It's the level of sarcasm
Meanwhile, Kate is still not 100% with Krakoa. She cannot use the gates.
Okay.
So she goes to Forge, and Forge points out the irony of this is the first time technology has fizzed you out. So she does the only thing she can do because she knows Forge is one of the smartest people in the world. She goes to Reed.
Okay.
And Reed is still not happy with Charles for trying to recruit his son, which was that whole Richard or his son is not a mutant. He's just whatever.
Yeah.
They're still sore about that with the X-Men. On top of that, he is aware that Charles has taken information from his mind, which for Reed, that's a big no-no.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Look, I'll figure out why the gates don't work for you, but I'm gonna need something in return." And Kate pops out 2 gate pods, like, "I can give you this." Reed's like, "Done." So it's a big changing of the guard. So this was a big, big book. The only person I know who's going to be in the Marauders next season, I guess that's the best way of putting it, because this will relaunch with Dugan, I believe, and someone else. I'm not entirely sure who. Let me Google real quick. Oh yeah, well actually we do know who it is. Steve Orlando and artist Eleonora Clarney. We have the team of Bishop, Dakin, Psylocke. There we go. Aurora, Psylocke, Dakin, Somnus, a hero created by Orlando in Marvel Voices Pride. And looks like they'll be going up against Cassandra Nova.
Psylocke is a name I haven't heard in a while. Actually, anything really.
I think the last time I saw Cassandra Nova was in all new, all different X Factor. Maybe. Anyways, this is like one of the biggest changes outside of Excalibur because so many things shift in this book, and Emma Frost stepping down as White Queen is just like huge news because that's just not something you ever expect to happen.
Right.
Uh, Sebastian Shaw can go whatever. I really don't care. Iceman, just like having just fought toe to toe in a giant kaiju battle against Fing Fing Foom was great, but him going up against Frost Giant is hilarious. Oh,
Still,
and the other thing that Pyro goes to do, Pyro decided to become a novelist. Now he's on a book tour.
yeah, that's all right.
So
That
those are
sounds
the
about
comic book
right.
recommendations. Oh yeah, we got one more. Forgot about that. And then finally, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers: The Otaran War, written by Ryan Pro, art by Marco Retta. This is the big one we've been fighting. A lot of Power Rangers have been fighting for. Zordon is fighting Lord Zed in hand-to-hand combat on the moon. Knockout, dragout fight. The Rangers are doing giant Megazord battles, and we get to see the White Tiger Dragons Megazord finally, where the Dragon Zord combines with the White Tiger Zord.
Okay.
Uh, Not too much to say. This is just a big combat issue, but this is just fan service everywhere because we Power Rangers fans all over have been dying to see Zed go at Zordon 1-to-1. So we finally get it. It's pretty evenly matched, and of course it's one of those. Zordon's like, "Why are we doing this? We know who the real enemy is." Zed's like, "I don't care. I just want to fight you because you've been doing this all this time." And Zordon's like, "Well, clearly we've both been being played since Jump Street."
But,
And
but
Zed is still, I still don't care. I just want you out of the way.
it's like Zed is gonna sit there and say, "Look, I have a beef. It's gonna be the end."
It's
It's
like, if you really were my friend, you wouldn't have taken my place as head of the guard. It's like, but the other, Zordon's like, but the other dude set us both up. That's
it's
really what
like
it is.
it's a whole thing of one trying to convince the other. It's like, but you know who the real enemy is? Don't care. You're already here. It's like, dang.
Yeah. So, good book. It's just a big fight book, which I'm fine with. We're slowly wrapping up the Antaran War. It's cool. We get to see the Dragon, White Tiger Dragon Thunder Megazord.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one of those dream combinations kids could only dream about because, Tommy couldn't have both Zords. But in this universe, we have Matt, who's also the Green Ranger. So we get them both this time.
I
We
don't want to
also
be in the
get to
middle
see
of that.
the henchmen. We also get to see Squat, Babu, and Finster fight. And Squat and Babu are surprisingly competent warriors. They're just idiots. But they're one of those, oh, we're bumbling buffoons, but if we gotta fight, we will fight.
I love the fact that you just call you're gonna cause a comment firestorm with that last one, Tommy, because Tommy can't have both swords.
No, it's true. They literally even say it in the show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying usually those Power Ranger debates they get very cutthroat about that.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know. It's as bad as Star Wars with zippers.
That is true.
The only other thing we do get to see Finster fight, and Finster just like, yeah, I'm not fighting you. Putties go.
Dang.
So,
I mean,
oh no, fine book. Highlight of the week is definitely Daredevil Woman Without Fear. That book is amazing. I love Chip Zdarsky writing Daredevil. I will say this still, this is as good, sometimes if not better than the Frank Miller Daredevil stuff, which also still has Daredevil and Elektra.
that's
This
still
is
hot.
right up there with it.
Ooh, I was gonna say, I have to read it because I was like, yeah, the Frank Martin run is Frank Miller
Oh, it's
run is gonna be.
legendary. Don't
I
get me
said,
wrong. I understand it's legendary, but this is right up there.
ooh, I gotta read it. I'm gonna make it a point to read it. I'm gonna make it a point to read because I'm just like, ooh, that's saying a lot. But anyway, but that being said, we do want to give a shout out to Rick's Comic City, as always, because they do allow us to share our podcast on their page, as well as I think some of our stuff gets played, and I think our commercial still gets played somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're up to like 496 views.
Yeah. So we do want to thank Risk Commissary for that. Again, they have been voted, especially if you're in Tennessee, especially if you're in Nashville, Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. They were voted Nashville's best comic book shop. They actually have 3 locations: one in Fort Campbell, one in Clarksville, and one in Donaldson. So definitely check them out. Support your local comic book stores if you can. Also, if you aren't able to get to a comic book store, please understand that libraries still carry the most up-to-date mangas, comic books, and other media. So with the price of $1 for a library card, you definitely can still catch up on your reading in these free public areas. So definitely take advantage of it, because those are the last bastions of free knowledge and entertainment that you can find. But like I said, like Stanley said it best about comic books. Comic books are like boobs. They feel great when they're in your hands. So that being said, Joe, as we kind of wrap this up, sir, anything you want to let people know that you're having going, especially on your gaming channel, which name is left me at the moment?
Well, next week they're going to be all out of this series, so sorry to the people at the comic store. I'm buying all the Jed McKay Black Cat.
You never apologize for buying out stuff. But anyway, keep going.
I am currently Mecha Monday is still going on. I renamed it Mecha because now I'm going to be playing some Mech Warrior, because that game is very open ended, so I can be doing that for a while. So there's that. I will be continuing with Mobile Suit Gundam. I'm just taking that super slowly because Gundam only has like 3 more missions and that game's over with, and I really want to take my time with that. Shield Mom and Pals in Space will continue at some point. Look, we're in space now. Literally, I got a starship in the last stream, and we were in space.
Sounds like a messed up B movie, but okay. Shield Mom House in Space. Oh, but for all those that don't know, Joe, where can they find you on Twitch, sir?
And at some point, I will get back to some of the other games. It's just I've got a lot going on right now, despite not a lot going on. God bless the new Surge. What can I tell you? My thighs are killing me.
I told you, Decepticon.
No, because I support the Decepticons. This is clearly at least, I don't know. What were they called in GoBots? This is a Renegades plot. Or the Rock Lords. This is all their fault.
At least you're not blaming RC.
Why would I blame that poor woman? And I can blame Hot Rod because it was his fault Optimus Prime died, no one else's. Anyways,
still too soon.
You can find me over on Twitter at Joe Tenlow, or just look up Joe Italian last name. You can also find that on the Twitch. Stream is mostly Mondays now, sometimes Wednesdays. At some point we'll get the comic box back up. We just got a whole lot of stuff going on family-wise before we can get that rolling again. Instagram, which I barely use, but it's still there. Stuff pops up every now and then. It's Nashville Scarlet Spider, Nashville Green Lantern. What else do I have going on? My God. Not a whole lot, because I can't really leave the house as much as I used to.
We all cannot leave the house.
It's annoying. Please be careful with the snowstorm. I have to brave it because work, you guys don't. I have to see how far 2 cats on a dog sled will work. Probably not too far, although one is very seal-shaped, so I may be putting her in her natural element.
Lord. What Joe is meaning to say is, as a healthcare professional, guys, please get vaccinated. Please get your boosters. Please wear your mask, because as we said, the Decepticon is loose and is aggressive. And to help him out and others who still need life-saving treatment but won't be able to because the COVID is taken, please protect yourselves. And that way, if you protect yourselves, you protect others, because the choices that you make definitely do affect others, especially for a lot of us who actually are having to bundle up or having to think twice about going out. I would like to go out and see the rest of the world, but as of the moment, it's kind of been just keeping isolated, just because you never know who may have COVID and who not. So please protect yourself above all else. But that being said, we do have some other shameless plugs I do want to point out. I do want to point out Vaughn, who actually did chat with us a little bit earlier. He's actually about to be starting his podcast back up. You can find him, Vaughn Westman, on Facebook, BigBZ on socials, where he has these Smoky Trailer Sundays every Sunday from 6:30 to 9 p.m., in which he goes over movies, television, and other things that he finds interesting and therefore wants to share them with you. Also, every Tuesday, he has the REF podcast, which is like America's Funniest Home Videos, except done by WorldStar, only for the grown and intended, every Tuesday from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Please check him out, Vaughn Westwood on Facebook or BigBZA on all socials. Also, shout out to Ari and Gee Present Geek Salad for allowing us to share our podcast on their page. Who is Ari and Gee? They actually, a couple of guys actually met last year who are just like us, that are all fans of geekdom and nerddom, and do talk about things, pop culture, and definitely outside that with an unfiltered but very interesting view. But definitely check them out, as that's their Facebook, as at the YouTube page I'm showing right now, Ari and Gee Present Geek Salad. You can also find them on Facebook as well at Geek Salad, so definitely like and share with them as well. Now, as for yours truly, guys, of course, my IG handle is BlackBox447. Please follow me there, as I usually do post movie reviews, video game reviews, and sometimes gym stuff, because I do a couple push-ups sometimes. Oh, it hurt like hell to do that, because I just got to doing shoulders. That's going to hurt for a while. But aside from that, guys, like I said, definitely follow me on IG. The actual link that's streaming at the bottom, you can definitely copy and paste that in your browser. Will take you to my link tree that has the YouTube and Facebook groups for all of my podcasts, How the Fuck We Got Here, Git Bit, and of course, the Ultimate Podcast. Nothing has changed, guys. As we said, we will still be right back to our usual programming schedule, as we will be right back here next Friday, 8:30 on Git Bit, as we will go more in depth with the shows of the week and any more news that we have forward. And of course, Joe will always come with his definitely top 5 comics and other news that he might, because I know he covered. We always try to cover everything, but let's be honest, in the world of pop culture, it is impossible for one person to do it and still be sane. That's why I'm very glad I have Joe, because he can definitely cover the areas that I may miss, and then I can cover the areas that he may miss, and then we can just come together and say that we got 80% of it. But that's good. 80% is better than nothing.
We got something.
Oh, sorry, what's that?
I just realized we forgot something.
What did you forget?
We forgot the Bob's Burgers trailer.
Oh, you still got it?
No.
Hang on, let me see if I can find it. I can find it. Well, before we do get out of here, Bob's Burgers, Bob's Burgers, I sporadically watch it. I understand it is, but don't get me wrong. Bob's Burgers is very entertaining. I sporadically watch it, but I did not know that they went ahead, because I thought a long time ago they would have went ahead and actually came out with the movie, which I did not know that they're actually coming out with a movie now. And give me 1 second, guys, because we actually do have the trailer.
Are you hungry for something good? Something juicy? How you doing? Something beefy?
Ta-da! Fresh hot burgers, sexy burgers.
Lynn.
Why? It's summer and sex sells, baby.
Big things are coming for summer, Tina.
Take out those bulky jeans. Be more aerodynamic.
Oh, you're doing it already. Great. Big things like that. Heat racks you get sometimes?
Bigger.
Stay low, follow my lead.
Come see. How about what?
Just like, yeah, it's great. Thank you.
Like this?
I think we got it. That last one was good.
Okay. Not what I was expecting. I'm the marketing department. I took Gene's burger suit, let out the crotch a little bit, and bam.
The burger with a bikini on it?
Yeah. I get it. No questions from this guy.
I'm going to be honest. I would probably still watch it, just because It looks interesting. It actually will be out in theaters May 27th. I'm going to give it a shot because, like I said, Bob's Burgers, I guess the guy who voices the lead character is also the same person that voices Archer. So, I mean, and of course, it has its own, certain shows have certain fandoms, and Bob's Burgers definitely does have that, almost up on the Simpsons level. But I'm definitely going to watch it. But real quick, Joe, any thoughts on about the Bob's Burger trailer?
You forgot the fact that he was also Brendan. Brendan, he played Coach McGurk 20 years ago, Brendan.
Yep, you're exactly right. That did escape my mind.
These is probably going to be just like Simpsons the movie. It's going to be its own giant super episode with a lot better animation. I'm just down for it because I'm a huge Bob's Burgers fan. My sister Jane, is also a giant Bob's Burgers fan. She also likes the 2 spin-off shows, Central Park and The Great North, which are...
The Great North is there. Yeah, I like The Great North. Took me a while.
Park we have to find, which is just Bob's Burgers if it was even more musical than it already is.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to this. I love this show so much.
Nice. Well, with that being said, guys, again, thank you all for watching. Like I said before on the way out, definitely take care of yourselves and each other. And like I said, me and Joe will be back here next Friday to basically discuss everything in the world of pop culture, sci-fi, and everything else in between. So with that being said, he's Joe. I'm Will. This has been the Git Bit Podcast for tonight, guys. If you're watching this on the playback on YouTube or Facebook, go ahead and comment if it's live. We still want to know what you guys thought about everything that we discussed tonight. So, like I said, if you're in the lower south, that was terrible. If you're in the south, of course, be very careful. Mother Nature is a very fickle person. So, again, not only be careful about the Decepticon variant out there, please be careful that the weather can change at any time. So, again, we just want everybody to be safe. If it's not worth it, it ain't worth it. So, with that being said, guys, thank you all for watching. He's been Joe. I've been Will. And, we'll see you guys next Friday. Peace.
It's okay.